Giants, it's a big day today. We got a good announcement. We're going to introduce you to our league members. These are the leaders of the Giants. We wanted to make sure that we that we go through and help you to see every one of them. Please feel free to comment. So if you see comments or you want to comment in this, I'll pull it forward so we can all respond. But we're going to take a minute to introduce ourselves. As many of you know, I'm Nick Smith. I've got Ryan Morris co-hosting with me right there in the middle. And then we got each of our Giants. We've got Rachel Smart, Amy Bingham, Alyssa Ann, Lamar. Lamar, I just went blank on your last name. He's just Coach L to me. Coach L.
Lamar Norwood up in the house.
Yeah, Melissa Ross and Nicole Castillo. And so this family is the League of Giants. So we are going to create some amazing things together. We wanted to take a moment to introduce you and answer some questions if you have them, and take a moment to go around the room. So Rachel, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yes, I'm Rachel Smart from Peachtree City, Georgia. I am a naturopathic doctor, a nutritional counselor for 22 years. I have 4 kids and almost 7 grandkids, and I'm grateful to be part of this wonderful League of Giants. Welcome to all of you.
Just a beautiful lady, great personality. Glad to have you along. Ryan, everybody knows Ryan.
Sorry, everybody.
Amy Bingham, go ahead.
Hey, I'm from Utah, representing with a few of us here from Utah. I am just in love with this whole tribe and the league we have here and everything our intentions are to set out for. So I'm mom of a few little youngsters and day job, build software, and by night I'm just trying to enjoy life and reach as many people as possible with this tribe.
Awesome. Alyssa, I know you've got to go because you got a birthday party, so we're going to jump around here and let you go next.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Yeah, my name's Alyssa. I live in Victoria in Australia. I think I'm the only Australian one. I am a mum to 3 kids. I love to travel. That's my big jam, and surrounding myself with giants. And yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today and be with these awesome humans.
You love adventure.
I do love adventure. I absolutely do. Yep.
Just an incredible human too. If you're not following Alyssa, make sure you do that. And Alyssa, do you need to jump off pretty quick here? And
I'll go through it. I'll listen to the intros and then I'll get going in a second. Yeah.
Let's jump to Nicole Castillo.
Hi guys, I am an intuitive empowerment coach. So I was a personal wellness coach for 4 or 5 years with the nutrition company. And then I am a graduate from Health Coach Institute. I have 4 kids that I absolutely love more than anything, and 3 fur babies. 4 fur babies. I've got lots of fur babies in my house too. And I absolutely love supporting people with living into the highest version of themselves.
I got to make sure I unmute myself. I muted everybody out because of the background noise. Melissa Ross. Thank you, Nicole.
Hi, I'm Melissa Ross. I am a mindset coach and a clarity coach. I have my own business as well, Rise to Wellness, and I am also a children's yoga instructor with Breathe With Me Yoga. I'm the host of Storytime Yoga for kids and Mat Chat for adults on Facebook. And I'm in Niagara Falls, Canada, and I have 2 little kids as well. And I am just absolutely thrilled to be a part of this group. So grateful for all of you, and I am so looking forward to the amazing things that this group is going to do.
It's awesome. Thank you. Lamar Norwood.
Got it. So hello, everybody. I am Lamar, aka Coach L. So I'm the team fitness guy, but in terms of fitness, I don't just work with fitness and building your body, but building the spiritual and the mental aspect as well. Because if you're spiritually and mentally obese, if you're spiritually and mentally malnutrition, you're not going to be able to build the life and the body that you want. So I'm the coach. You just call me Coach L, and I'm good.
You can see
happy to be a part of it.
You can see a lot of Lamar over at Get Fit with Giants. So we got a whole community over there starting. Nicole Castillo will be on there as well. Rachel Smart. So great nutrition tips, health tips, mental tips to stay fit in every way. Did I get everybody? Ryan and I, we kind of get to introduce every day with the show. Ryan, did you want to say anything?
I think it was good. No, this is awesome. I'm loving it. This is a well-oiled machine right here. These guys are absolute powerhouses in their respective industries. So we love them to death. Hey, there's one too.
We got a powerful one, Diana. Thank you, Diana. I got. Let's see here. Do you guys see that? Does it say unmute mic right on the top there, or no? I don't know if you can see that in the screen. How about we go around the room and have you guys define what a giant is? Alyssa, we'll start with you.
Can you unmute me?
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it's a bit tricky on my phone. I think being a giant is living your best life. So it's going to bed every night and evaluating what you've done and going,
Awesome.
How can I do it better? And surrounding yourself by people that raise you up, which is exactly what we do in this beautiful league.
I love it. I love it. Melissa,
That's
I think
my
it's a
definition.
perfect definition. Melissa, you want to go?
Oh my goodness. Being a giant to me is taking giant action on your goals and your dreams, and not only taking that action and taking those small steps every day, but having love for yourself and appreciation for yourself, and giving yourself kindness the one day that you don't take action. So, taking those baby steps every day and slowly but surely reaching that giant goal.
Isn't that important, those small steps? Everybody thinks that you got to take giant steps or do giant things, but those small steps are just as impactful.
They all add up, those tiny steps. They do.
Awesome. Nicole Castillo. I just like saying your last name.
Well, yeah, you're one of the few people that can say it correctly. So say it as much as you want. I love my last name. It's one of the reasons why when I mentioned to me, I was like, yeah, we can get married. You have a cool last name. But to me, a giant is anyone who takes personal responsibility to heal their lives. And I am a firm believer that if just one person in the world, like if you could heal just one person in the world, what impact that would make, and if all of us take that on with our own healing, and then it provides a space for other people to heal. So to me, being a giant means taking responsibility for healing your life so you can be a stand for other people in their own healing.
I love that. So you can hold space for others. And yeah, that's great. It's good. Thank you. Rachel, you want to go? I got to unmute you. Hold on one second. There we go.
Yeah, I said I have the better name. Smart. Who has a better name than Smart? It's extra smart with 2 P's. So, Nicole, I beat you. I've been thinking a lot about this as we are putting the League of Giants. For me, a giant is one that's resilient and has grit, and knowing that bad things don't just happen to us; they happen for us. And so we all are going to have things that are broken in our lives, that we have scrambled, dreams are shaken up by a lot of different things. But we have to learn how to rise, to have some grit, to get up, and to make a choice, to take a chance and be the change we want to see. And it's grateful to be here with all of you and rising up a league that we can help inspire all of you to get up.
I'm so inspired by this group, and I hope everybody that's watching is too. We got a good audience watching here. Yeah, that grit to get up every day and go, so important. For me, for a giant, what I see as a giant is any human that's pursuing their highest potential. Any human in anything, doesn't matter where they are in the world or what they're creating, as long as they're pursuing their highest potential, I see that as being a giant. So I love that. Amy, you want to go?
Yeah, to me, being a giant are those people that are really leading, being the light for everyone else, leading that group, being the light, just shining in ways that they're not even aware of it. And it's because of that hard work, the continuing to go inward, constantly going in and searching there for answers, searching there for truth, not looking outside, not following, doing the leading just from within their own light.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's an inner job, right? We all have to do our own work. It's good. Ryan?
Well, for me, like, I was thinking about this quite a bit today, and I have an ability to see everybody's giant potential. I've been one that doesn't judge people. I look and see the best in them, and I feel like everybody has the potential to be better, to be more, to reach to new levels, to spiral up. We talk about that a lot, spiraling up.
Yeah.
And you could be at different points in your life. I talked to Nick earlier about this concept a little bit. That I was like, well, when are you a giant, or when's giant enough? And the answer is once you hit a level, you look and you go, man, there's giants that are levels above me, and you keep moving, you keep growing, you keep expanding, and it's almost like I don't know what the word is, but I don't know. It's something that's a lifelong pursuit to me.
Yeah.
And
You can never reach the pinnacle, right? There's always more.
there's always more. Yep.
I love that. Lamar, you want to take a crack there?
Yeah. Hey, I know Alyssa's doing a lot of things, so if you happen to jump off, we won't take it personal. We understand that you have a lot going on, and we do appreciate your time just being in the mix of this, because we know that you're a busy woman out there in Australia.
Australia. We'll go.
All right.
Love you.
Bye, Alyssa.
Love to the list. All right. So, I mean, one of the things I love about just everything that I heard leading up to where I'm going with what my version and vision of what a giant is that everybody's version of being a giant represents to me a piece of the armor that represents what the body of a giant is. And the body of a giant to me is something that's collective. It's not just something that, okay, I'm a giant over here and you're a giant over here. I think the League of Giant represents a collective, and we're building a body, and then people are still coming in, and that body is constantly being built. So it's an ever building process that we're going through. And then for me, when I look at being a giant means being able to embrace the adversity, because adversity is that time. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, what you go through. It's the space between deciding to take action and taking the action. So if you have somebody who's ready to bungee jump off of a bridge, it's that moment where you decide I'm going to do it, and that moment where somebody either shoves you off or you take the leap. And that's the space of adversity, where it's born and where it's birthed at. So for me, that giant is the person who is able to be in that space that is the most uncomfortable space, but be able to outlive and outlast the thing that wants to set you back and keep you from moving. And to put it in a nutshell, is letting go of whatever makes you stop. And that's a giant.
I love that. Yeah. Whatever makes you play small, whatever keeps you from growing. So if I were to ask you guys about a vision for the future, where you see this group going, anybody want to tackle that? That's a big question, right?
I can.
Yeah,
I can
Ryan?
tackle it.
Yeah, Ryan.
I said this to Nick the other day, and this was after one of our calls, and we have a lot going on. Just quickly, this morning at 10:10, Nick took a picture at 10:10. We had Richard Paul Evans talk about us. I had Paul Cardall talk about us, talking giant terms. These are people that you know, they're big in their respective industries. We have lots of people like this doing this all the time. We've got the ball rolling. We've got Diana. We got people all over. Lori, you know, our Canadian giants. Thank you very much. We got a bunch of those up there. So what I see is I see a global movement. I see people that are attracted to our message because it's something that transcends just about everything. I don't know. It tugs at everybody's heart. They can relate it to themselves and what they're going through. There's so many different paths and so many different journeys, and every one of them is not the same, but they can still support and relate. I see us filling stadiums. I see inspirational speakers. I see other people in the League of Giants growing, expanding, where, you know, we come out. We posted the other day of coming out to your introduction music. You know what you come out to. and where we play that, and you come out and you speak and you talk to other people, you have a story to tell. You can reach behind and lift somebody else up. We talk about standing on the shoulders of giants. These giants right here, I get to stand on their shoulders. They lift me up. They pull me. They push me, and I see that. I see that for all of you. This is going to be something that's going to be huge, and we need giants all over the place. They're out there. We need to find them. We need to bring them into the tribe and love them and help them and have them help others, because we need your message. That's what I see.
I love it. That trigger anything for anybody?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm going to unmute you, Rachel. There you go.
I just think, you know, we look at the Olympics, something where you had to hand somebody over the torch. And what we're seeing in this tribe is that people are daring to dream again. You know, you don't know a dream until you see others say, well, I have a dream. What is my intention? And you start lighting people's torches, and it's like a ripple effect that goes on. And it's like you say, Ryan, a global movement that we gain courage by taking that one baby step. And then it's a ripple effect that it just we can't stop if we tried. So that's what I see as well.
You know,
we all encourage each other.
Yeah.
Have bad days. So
you know what's cool about it is we get to one peak as we grow as giants, and another one exposes itself. It's like where we are today, we couldn't have even imagined a year ago when we started doing this. I mean, Ryan and I were talking about ideas on how to grow just the giants and the smalls, the book. And I don't even think it was on our radar to have a league of giants or even a tribe of giants. And here we are with people all over the world. We got some of the most powerful people leading with us, alongside us. You guys are right there with us building this thing. And I think we don't even know what's going to be out on the future yet, but to project it out there like you are, Ryan, I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing.
Can I chime in?
Yes.
So you hear the term like crazy, everyone knows your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So every single giant in this tribe, how many members are there?
There's almost 600. Yeah.
Every single member in here can take so much pride in the energy that they're bringing in. Their own energy that they're bringing into this group is attracting. Just what we're bringing on together. Every single one watching this video, this live, know that you contributed to this. You're contributing to this massive just attraction that we're bringing in all together as an army, right? As a tribe, what we can do together. And so everyone take some pride in that. You're all doing this.
It's true. There's a point where it's no longer about us. You know, the book started out, it was interesting to see it kind of grow in a degree, but now it's grown beyond Ryan. It's grown beyond me. When things gain mass, they gain gravity, and gravity pulls things to its center. And this tribe it's gaining mass. Like it's gaining mass, and there's so much energy and attention given to it by all these people. I know they have busy lives, but it seems like people are checking in constantly for our message. We had somebody today that said it's like a tsunami of positivity coming in.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can I chime in for a sec?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think that the tribe itself is demonstrating hope and bringing hope as well, because we have the league here and we're leading and we've led that positivity, but now we have this entire tribe there that is emulating that positivity and bringing them. We could step out and that positivity would still be infused into the tribe. And I think it's incredible that all of these leaders are popping up and still infusing all that positivity. And it's instilling hope in the tribe and hope in the rest of humanity that this positivity will grow and expand. I've always said that my vision as an entrepreneur is to see a world full of positivity and gratitude. And I mean, especially right now, we've seen such a decline in hope and gratitude and that happiness, right? Because of what's going on right now. And I think that the tribe is really infusing that. And I think we're going to see that grow and spread. That just warms my heart. Absolutely warms my heart.
Can you imagine a year from now what this might look like? I can't. It's gonna blow everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Lamar, what's coming up?
Because this is like the seed that's going into the ground, and that's something that I carry through in a lot of lessons that I give. It's the seed that goes into the ground, and in order for the seed to produce, the seed must go into the ground. It has to go into good ground. So automatically this comes out as this is good ground, because no matter what the background, no matter what our culture, no matter what our race, no matter all of the things that may on the surface separate us, we have defied that already. So we have created the good ground for the seed to go into. And then ultimately, after the seed goes into the ground, the seed has to die to bring forth life. And that's the irony of it. So the seed goes into the ground, the seed dies, and then in the death, it brings forth life. So in this group or in the tribe with the 600 plus members, it's like coming into a space where we have died, or we're dying constantly, and we're shedding things that would normally separate us or that would normally limit us. So now there's no more things that are going to allow us to be limited. Not to say we won't come against those things that would attempt to limit us, but we refuse to be limited. We refuse to be stopped. And that again touches back to that point of adversity that I talk about. It's that space where you're making a decision to say, yes, I'm either going to do this, I'm going to hesitate. It's the hesitation that usually causes the destruction, but it's the hesitation. That's the place where you now have to contemplate, what am I going to do? And the tribe represents to me, I'm making that decision to say, I'm going to go into the ground. I'm going to allow these old things, these old habits, these old ways of thinking to fall off of me, and then be birthed into a tribe that's producing on the level that we're fortunate to be able to produce that. And this is only the beginning.
It is. Have any of you experienced something that feels like death in a degree? Something super hard that you think, I don't know how I'm getting out of this? I mean, I think that's what makes us relate with so many people in our tribe, is that each of us has gone through some really, really dark moments in our lives. And it's that darkness that's allowed us to grow out of it and produce what we're producing. And like you say, we're just sprouting. We're just sprouting when it comes to the Giants. This is a global movement. Any other thoughts come up around that?
I have a thought. You know, we talk about adversities. It introduces us to what we really can become, and it's a platform to spring into something greater. And I know all of us have been through a lot, and all those that are in the tribe that are growing, I believe that 600 can be 1,200 the next month and just keep growing. But when we get stuck, when we feel broken, when we feel shattered, that's the time that we get quiet to really reflect, ask better questions, and say, how can I use this to springboard to my greatest calling and my greatest giantness in it? And that's where I find that if we ask each one of us on the league to share, we all have been in the ditch, we've been in the disaster, and that's what's made us turn into, whether me into health, smart transformations, and somebody else into teaching mindfulness or whatever. It's because it came from a place where we were stuck and broken, that we go, no more, we're done with this, we're going to do things different now and change things, and so can you.
Isn't it incredible? I mean, think of it, where each of us is in our lives right now compared to where we were starting. From death of loved ones, from trauma to depression to divorce to all these things that we've all gone through to where we are today, and we're still growing. There's still so much more to come. And I know people in the tribe, they can relate to that. I think that's what draws people in, is they can relate to that. And there's hope, and like Melissa, like you said, there's hope inside of here.
And not just that the people in the tribe can relate to it. It's that they're growing as well.
Yeah.
They're moving on, because lots of people can relate to that, but they don't have the capacity to move past it at that time. They don't have the capacity to keep growing and move past that. And we have all of these amazing people in the league and in the tribe that are at the point where they have the capacity to move past that adversity and grow from it and keep going.
Yeah. How about this question? Do you all remember what drew you into this tribe? And what was your first thought about how you related to being a giant? Who wants to go?
Nicole. Nicole, you go.
Nicole?
Oh my gosh, Ryan. I knew this was coming. So Ryan is what drew me into this tribe because I didn't see myself as a giant. I got an email from or a DM from him, and I was like, "Did you send this to the right person? Because I don't think that you're talking about me." So, and I didn't know what a giant was, you know, and so I got the book, and I really related to Rit and Rit's story and how Rit came through it. And that is probably my relating to a small is maybe where I started to relate to being a giant because I really connected with Rit that he had questions to ask and he didn't listen to naysayers and he went out on his own to find the answers and found a mentor. So I just yeah. So my first thought was, you picked the wrong. This is the wrong.
Definitely not the wrong person because man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And she, and this is her tribe. She talks about it all the time. Like, I found my people. I found the people that I relate to. This is my tribe.
Yeah.
And we feel the same way for sure.
Coming home and recognizing like people when they show up, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Lamar. That's my brother. Like, I just knew like. And it's been like that with everyone. Like, oh my gosh, this is my family. It's like I'm finally home. It just took my brother Ryan finding me and bringing me home. So
what I love about that is we all have different backgrounds. It could be differences in religion, differences in culture, differences in color of our skin, differences in preferences. But it doesn't matter. None of that matters because being a giant has nothing to do with any of that. It's a personal choice to grow beyond the capacity that you're at. It's to grow and be more than you currently are. Anybody else want to tackle that question?
I'll tackle it.
Yeah, Rachel. Let's go, Rachel, and then Melissa.
Well, I met Nick about 10 years ago, and I was living in Georgia, and I had a friend that was living in Utah going to a BNI. So I got connected with Nick, and he coached me because I was going into corporate wellnesses and working with, a company that's helping people find that, a way to get more nutrition into wellness companies. And so, Nick, you taught me about mindset because I didn't have the right mindset. And then I needed skill set because I didn't have the skill set either. And then I had to learn the action steps. And so you were the reason that I got connected. And then when I read the book, The Giant and the Smalls, I was addicted to wanting to shout that message to everyone because it's like we want to stand, like Ryan, you said, stand on somebody else's shoulders so you can see a little higher. And then you can go, I'm going to learn about getting rid of a perfectionism. Let's work on progress. And then you taught me something, Nick, about the word sufficing. I was always saying, I want to finish it. I want to get something done. We don't ever get it done. We just have to say sometime you work and work and work and say, it's good enough, and then you go on to something else because we get stuck. So that's how I met you, Nick. And then I fell in love with all of you on the league. And then we had a vision as we for a year, we've been talking, processing, praying, and then it's just kind of blossomed and then it's exploding now. And we're very excited about all that's coming to be able to help serve the global community.
This is awesome. Thank you. Melissa, you want to go?
Yeah, so I actually reached out to Nick because we had a mutual author friend and I read the book, The Giants and the Smalls, and it really spoke to me. And I reached out to him because I thought, how can I be of service to him in this book? And that was my goal. I was like, I had this tunnel vision right on that. And so we got on a call and we started talking about the book and we started talking about what I was doing. And he said to me, no, you need to come on a show. You need to. And so I got booked on the show when I came on. And that's when I met Ryan for the first time. And I hadn't had a conversation with him. And I was so drawn in by both of their energies in the show. When we were done recording that show, I said to both of them, I don't care what you do. I will be involved in whatever it is you do. Bring me in. I'm there. Because I loved their energy. I was so drawn in by their energy. It was so amazing. And I didn't end up doing anything with the book at first, but it hit me as we grew as a group and as things grew. I did end up taking The Giants and the Smalls and bringing it on to Storytime Yoga as a 3-part series for all of the kids. And I mean, I already had my giant story, But when I really got into storytime yoga more and it evolved and I thought about the book, I knew that I needed to bring that giant story and that greatness to all of the kids. So that's how I got involved in having a giant story. And that's where I was brought in with Nick and Ryan. And then that's how I evolved in the giant story, by bringing that giant message to all of the kids.
You know, it's crazy because like the connections between all of you is, what if I didn't send that message to Nicole? You know, what if I just would have kept quiet about what we had our hands on? You know, what if the mutual friend, you know, wouldn't have been involved? We would never have known Melissa. You know, Lamar through Nicole. You know, Rachel, Amy. Like the pathways are so tiny. I don't believe in coincidences. I think that we were made to be in the League of Giants, and that it all took stepping forward and with courage and a little bit of uncomfortableness. I don't even know if that's a word.
It is
but,
now. Yeah,
it is now. I'm good at making up words. So, but man, the thin threads, you know, to find people, and there's more that are out there, that as we step forward and as we move up, spiral up, get a little bit better, our capacity is going to increase, and we're going to run across some people that are going to be some powerhouses as well. And then there's a lot of people that need the message so that they can spiral up, and then they'll turn around and reach back and grab the next giant. That's what I see. What's happening.
I'm getting a little emotional here. My eyes are starting to water.
I love you, people.
My people.
Not like I get emotional when I'm drunk. It's different.
Yeah,
It's
right?
different.
Hey, I saw Zach pop up there, but this is Zach Ricketts. We have another member, Zach, that couldn't be here. I had a family member pass away, but Zach Ricketts, there he is right there. So he doesn't have his profile picture on there, but Zach Ricketts, what a man, what a person. He was, I think, one of our first coaching calls between Nick and I together. He grew up with Nicole and I, and wow, what an amazing person. You'll probably see more of him in Get Fit with Giants, and maybe as a guest on in the future. He's a powerhouse. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you hear my dog shaking in the background. This is live. So he's a tiny giant. Any thoughts come up there, Lamar or Amy, for you two?
Well, I thought I could pop in and tell a funny story.
Yeah.
We're talking about connections. So, Nick, I'm going to mention it.
Yeah.
Me and Nick stumbled across each other on a dating website. And within minutes, he sent me the link to his book. And that's where it all just unfolded, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He sent me the what would you call it? The movie clip of it?
Yeah, I think what I was trying to do is like, this will either scare her off and we'll be done with this. She'll think I'm some kind of weirdo writing books and stuff, or she'll be cool with it. But man, we've built a great
awesome friendship.
Yeah.
Like, it has just unfolded to such an amazing friendship on the same journey. And
okay, so I gotta pause you, because your profile said, what childhood issues are you dealing with? Something along those lines.
I thought, you know what? I'll scare off the people that can't deal with me, because that's what we're going to talk about, your childhood issues.
This is perfect, meant to be. Now Amy's just a powerful person, and so grateful that we made that connection, because I'm grateful to have you along in this journey. Did you want to continue your thought there, or I kind of interrupted it?
That was it. I just think it's funny. Awesome. I'm like, connections happen in just beautiful ways to connect, right? Who knows if we would have ever connected? So it's just, they're amazing. One thing that I had for my 2020 goals, and this was something that we had talked about early on, was specifically to find my tribe. Okay, specifically to find my tribe of conscious entrepreneurs. And you remember that, Ryan, too. That was my 2020 intention. and to see it like here unfold, right? Like I'm gonna stop because I'll start crying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't discount the value of dating apps. You might meet a giant in there. No.
Melissa, hit me more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Melissa. Lamar, how about you, man?
Yeah, so I was the last one to come on board, and again, all found in a space and a place where it's a matter of taking action, deliberate action, and seeking, and the connection actually came to Ryan and here because of Coach Al. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. The introduction came from Nicole to Nick and Ryan, and we just connected on our interview. And I remember the day that we were scheduled to do the show, we had all kind of technical issues, and Nick was like, "Man, this is gonna be good." Like, how you know? He said, "Yeah, because when we have technical issues like this, we know it's gonna be good." So
every time.
So I had the opportunity to share with them, and we did the show. We ended up having to record it, but just really being able to be honest and transparent about life and where I was and where I am. And from there, I think just the connection. So Nicole went through the same course that my wife went through, and that's where that connection came through. And then I don't even know how Nicole really had the vibe of what I was doing and what was going on with me, but she would always throw those little compliments of like, "Wow, you're a powerhouse." I'm like, she don't know me like that. But the energy resonates, and it'll connect, and it'll link to people who are in that same flow, in that same vein. So from there, that interview led to the invitation to be a part of this league, and here I stand today, very proudly.
And we're so happy to have you, man. Mm-hmm. You've been such a great addition to this tribe, into this league. We got out of balance, right? It was more feminine energy than masculine.
Yep.
Because of Ryan, but
They even said that, like, yeah, we have like all these women on the group, and only like 2 guys, like Zach and Nick.
That's
not funny.
Yeah. All right.
No,
I have lots of flair. I can decorate with the best of them. It's cool.
The beauty of the group, though, is we can joke and we have fun, and we can be serious and we can cry, and we just honor each other, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's because I cry a lot, isn't it?
Well, I do too, man. I do too.
Right there with you. It's okay to cry. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I loved about the interview with Nick, Ryan, and Lamar. It was just 3 men, masculine men, who were able to be emotionally connected. It was the first time you guys had met Lamar, but it was like watching that. I know I messaged Nick and Ryan, and I was like, oh my gosh, did that just happen? It was the most phenomenal show. If you haven't watched the interview with Lamar, and I recommend you watch it for all of the Giants here on Wake Up with Giants TV, but that was just like, I messaged them right away. It was like, that was amazing, incredible to see 3 masculine men come together in this culture and be able to cry together and get vulnerable together. And it was so beautiful to witness. I'm so grateful that the 3 of you are in that space where you can feel empowered to share that part of yourselves and hold space for each other. It's just, I hope that more people will learn and take that and instill it into their own lives, because it's really beautiful.
We definitely live in a time where people just say, get over things, don't cry, be tough, move on. And that's never worked for me. It's never worked for me. And what I love about our community and us is that we're willing to be vulnerable. We're willing to talk about our darkness. We're willing to go into the light. We're willing to talk about anything and hold space for just about anything. And so I'm grateful for that. So from Diana, within this wonderful giant energy, what are some of the projections that some of you see necessary for the next level of the giant global movement, especially now? Anybody want to tackle that?
Well, I say in terms of just being able to move and be able to grow, it's again, it always seems to come back to this with me. And I know we said it at the top that we are people who've gone through things, but the reality is that a lot of us are still in things. We're still in some of that fire. We're still in some of that stuff that seems like, man, if you turn the cameras off and you were like, okay, you turn it off and you pull the set down, you're like, okay, back to the hell of what I'm going through. The thing that I think that's going to be important at a core is the foundation, is the humility that must stay consistent. The ability to be as open and free as we are with who we are. And then from there, being able to plug that into so many different spaces. And just as Nicole alluded to, it's just like, for example, especially in a group of men that can just be, not trying to be, not acting like, but just can be. And for us, if we stay on that path that we're on of just being, then in terms of what the global reach is really not about what we're reaching for. It's about what will be attracted to us, because the light will attract whatever's going to come to it. And I think a beautiful comment actually earlier, Erin, stars can't shine without darkness. And that's powerful. In the darkness, a lot of times is where we'll shine the most. So I think that's important in terms of building us to that space where we can begin to extend our arms and embrace the world.
You know what I love about what you just said is that we all have our standard, our back camera going. And so many of us compare that backstory to somebody else's highlight reel. We see the Facebook stories and we're like, man, I can't keep up with them. They're too far ahead of me. And each of us is working through stuff. I think it's important that collectively, and Ryan, I'm going to hit you up to answer this one too. But I think collectively, there's no way that we can make this a global movement by ourselves. Like, this is a tribal, this is a league, this is a global movement. It's a collective movement. It's not about me. It's not about Ryan. It's about all of us kind of standing up together and doing it. I don't see any other way. Ryan, do you want to hit on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, going back a little bit before the pandemic, we had so much momentum that we felt like, hey, this is amazing. This is going to work. We planned a big event, St. Patrick's Day, for a launch for our Kickstarter, and then COVID happened, and there was a choice. There was this moment in time where we had a path to choose. We had somewhere where we needed to go. We knew what we wanted to accomplish. We could either let the circumstance dictate how we showed up, or we go out and we create. And we stopped for just a second, looked at each other, got a little bit of advice. Somebody said, pray. And then we just went and we ran. There was no walking. There was no trotting, skipping. It
was more of a fumbling, like an albatross, like
yeah, tripping over our own wings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is, and I've watched people through this pandemic, and there's more more challenges. What's your personal pandemic? You could look at it and say, what's paralyzing you? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? What are the challenges that you face? Look, we had some challenges. We had some real big challenges. The economy was shutting down. People were scared. There's a million different excuses, but instead, we ran. We ran hard, and we figured, you know what? The worst case scenario is we look back and we're proud of what we accomplished. We're proud of ourselves. We can look at ourselves in the mirror and go, yeah, and we gave it our best shot, and we're going to do it. And it might not look pretty some days. It could look really, really, really dark and really ugly. And there's some days that we didn't feel like being giants. That we were small, but we kept moving. And then look what's happened just from that. It hasn't even been a year, and the things that we've accomplished together as a group, and I'm talking about the tribe. It's absolutely incredible. I look back at other people and outside of this, who created and who didn't, who sat back, who sat on their hands and waited, and who didn't. And it's crazy to see there's so much opportunity. Look at your perspective. You could look at the perspective. And you had that choice. You still have a choice.
Yeah.
How are you going to view this? And where are you going to go from here? Change your perspective. You have the choice right now to choose something different. So go
That's
out and make it
awesome.
happen. Go make it a giant day, right? Like we say.
Go make it a giant day. Yeah. Rachel, can you show everybody your shirt? Yeah.
I'm a giant. You know, I was thinking,
Yeah.
you know, there was a comment that somebody asked about how do you move forward when you're afraid? And I thought, you know, what we're doing to have a perspective or projection in this group is to help all of those in the tribe is to be able to know what your kind of like your genius within, and you get like what we call angry inspired. You know, we remind you in this tribe, you're going to have TV, you know, maybe some of those that are going to be spotlighted on an interview. We can spotlight people in the tribe. You know, they're doing this, celebrating the small wins they're afraid of, but we have to get our why. And to get our why, you have to kind of make something that's going to make you cry and smile at the same time. We're going to make you cry and to make you angry that you're going to not sit there. Like Ryan says, when something happens, you're not going to say, well, it's just my dreams are lost. Like, heck no, you know, we're gonna turn it on a little higher and we're gonna do it and scared anyway. And then you learn as you go. It's gonna be messy, clunky, sloppy. You're gonna trip. You're gonna want to quit. You're gonna give up. But if it really matters to you, you're gonna be smiling while you're crying. Then you know you're on track with your dreams.
Amy, I'm gonna hit you on this one. There's a thing we talked about in our show yesterday with Lamar, or was it was this morning on the Munchausen, that nobody is coming to rescue you. And it's the story of Munchausen, who pulls himself out of the water by his ponytail. And one of the things that we try to do in this tribe is not to rescue, but to show you the power that you have. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, there if we constantly waited for that person to save us, right? Right, there's times when you're just in your dark and it's like, where did everyone go? Where is everyone? I need you and I need you now. And you feel so abandoned at the exact moment that you finally need someone. And this is where you know this is your work. This is intentionally coming your way, right? And people are clearing and moving out of the way because it's like, this is your time. This is it. Like, this is where you get excited and look at it in the face and say, okay, all right, I'm on my own, but this means this is going to be powerful. So powerful, right? Like, and you know that. And that's what scares most people, you know, knowing it scares us to think of the power we actually like really house within ourselves. And that's what most of the time we run from, is knowing that we actually are the answers to everything. We have that power to just rise and step up, not needing anybody along the way to do that. I mean, there's the mentors and those that shine bright for us to say, yes, that's what I want. I'm moving towards that. But yeah, it's a beautiful process.
You know, Lamar hit on this, you hit on this. Lamar talked about a seed, you talked about the potential, and that giant potential is already within us. Every one of us is already there. And what we're trying to do with the tribe is remind people, hey, you've already got it in there. And I think that attracts people because they want to remember and they do want to have hope. I don't think people want to feel hopeless. If I'm, you know, I might be weird in that, but I don't think people like that feeling. So, Nicole, did you have something?
I just think that from somebody who tried to rescue somebody or save somebody, I know we have some people in the tribe right now that are in that situation. And it's like, I was robbing that person of their story. I was robbing that person of that champion story of themselves. I wanted to be their champion instead of allowing them to get through it on their own and be their own champion. And yeah, nobody's coming to save you, and you get to save yourself, and then you have that story that you get to share to inspire someone else in the same situation, and not trying to rob someone of their story.
Rachel, you had something too. Thank you, Nicole.
I think I heard Dr. Oz say something that really hit me. He says one of the greatest epidemics that we are seeing today is loneliness. So part of we're building community that people can be part of. Some people don't have families. They don't have encouragers. They have negative naysayers. And we are encouraging we are giving people hope. And when we meet every night on Monday at 9:30, because it's late for here in Georgia, and Melissa's in Canada, we really wanted to make a bigger difference in a global way. And so being able to know that whether you're lonely, whether you're been abused, whether you have losses, we're all going to say, and me too. And if you can do it, I can too. So it's kind of like we could even save a lot of people. There's suicides that are up. People that feel like life is not worth it anymore. They can't keep their jobs. Anyway, so I see this as something to, people that just broken and but lonely, I think is a big epidemic we forget to realize it is today.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I add to that? That feeling of lonely, everything you just mentioned, Rachel, that when you actually realize the power within you and making those steps of healing, removing all the blocks, removing all the limiting bullshit we just cap ourselves off with, and we release all that. We remove all that out of the way and actually see the power we have and can feel the peace within us, feel that actual peace of being within ourselves, and that we house everything. That's where the true power is. That's where it's like game on.
Yeah.
It's powerful, Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro, thank you. The story even highlights that Remy never takes that growth away from Rit. He doesn't rescue him. He shows him his power, and Rit grows. And Rit is he's a type. It's not that only boys can grow. It's a type. It's an archetype, and it's symbolic of all of us. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. That symbol is what we're looking for, is that you have that potential. Mentors can show you how to grow into it. You can grow into it with or without a mentor. That's the power of it. And we've run on, we're almost 8 minutes away from an hour here. Is everybody okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, and I want to add too, when you're talking about the story there of Remy and Rit just didn't just have the potential. He had the grit and the strength to take that action when Smalls were telling him he couldn't do it, that he had to stay small. And we all have those people in our lives. We all have those people that we tell our giant dreams to, and they crash them down. They don't believe in us, and they don't tell us. They don't. There it is. Yeah, Ryan's holding it up. They don't encourage us to reach for those dreams. We all have those naysayers. But what made Rit different is that he didn't listen. He had the growth and the strength and the action and the fortitude to move forward despite all of that.
There's some stuff I hid in the book, like the 555 and the clock. There's a part where Rit is going on the path, right? And he's going out to meet the giant. And in his song, he says, "Will you turn around and rescue me?" And the symbolism of that is that when people feel small, they want to be rescued. And Rit didn't know any better when he stepped out on the path. He was expecting a giant to rescue him. That's how he imagined the world. What he'll learn later on in the story, and like our tribe members will learn, is that nobody is coming, and that power lies within them. And if we can inspire that, which I feel like each of us does so powerfully, then they'll do it on their own. They'll recognize that they already have it, that they can do it, and then they'll grow on their own. And that's what we're looking for.
Can I say a truth real quick?
Yeah.
Is it that you hit a level of being a giant? You hit a new level. You hit a point, or maybe you set out to where you were going and you accomplished something. We've come to a point in where we're at now. Guess what still comes up sometimes? Fear. Some bubble guts, right? Some stuff where you're like, oh man, okay, I don't know if I can handle this. I talked to Nick about this a little bit before. It's like, hey, look, we're stepping into some uncharted territory, some stuff where we've never been before. But you know what? I have past experience now. It's not as scary. I have built up some habits and some beliefs and some knowledge and some training from some really wicked, strong giants that have helped me to live into my giant potential. And so I know that, look, if I just step forward, if I keep moving, the path starts to show itself. And so, you know, we're just like you too. Like there's some dark times, there's some sad times, there's some fear, but guess what? You can push through. If we can push through, you can too. I promise you. I promise you.
We're no different from you. We're not different from you. Just like you, we get to do the work. Rachel, go ahead.
I just think too, we're talking about what really brings a giant, and one of my favorite parts in the book is that when Rit is on the ground, and he says, what do you see?" Remy asks Rit, "What does he see?" And he goes, "I just see the dirt. I see the bushes. I see the stuff on the ground," because he was small thinking. He was raised that way, and he said, "Well, let me show you a little bit different." So I believe that a lot of the strength is come from God. He puts us on a higher place, and he goes, "Now look what you can see." And that's where the wow factor is. Like, I never knew until it's planted in my mind from the ultimate source, God, to be able to say, what can I be? What can I do? What can I have? And what can I become, so that I can serve the world and turn that mirror around? That's what I think is the greatest.
I like that. I also like that type of being on a giant's shoulder applies to people who believe in God, people who don't believe in God. It applies to just about everybody. There's always potential to stand on shoulders and see the world a little differently. And I love that you said that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. We got an amen on that one, Rachel. You nailed it. Any other comments from the viewers? Anybody want to post anything else you're curious about? Any questions? Any thoughts that are coming up for you?
I mean, I want to highlight something while we wait for that to come in. Something that Pedro said. I don't know Pedro. I came across him when just kind of in another group, and I saw the transition that he made. And Pedro was a heavy dude, and I hope you don't mind me sharing, I guess, what I know of your story, bro. But Pedro was a heavy dude, and for me, a lot of times I look at the weight. Being a former medical professional, I look at the weight that he carried, and the weight represents a lot of different things. It represents the pains, it represents the fears, it represents the reason we don't move forward, it represents the reason we stop moving, it represents abuse, it represents so many different things. And to see how phenomenal it was, and again, not knowing him and not even knowing his story, and I think we're going to have a chance real soon to kind of hear his story if he's open to that. But to see how he transitioned, and to see that when you have a vision of something, if you don't keep that vision in your mind and allow yourself to be that, to feel that, even when you're not that. So one of the examples that I like to share is when people start talking about they want to exercise and they want to work out with me. And I ask, why do you want to work out with me? A lot of times, well, because I hate the way I look. I hate the way I look in my clothes. I hate this. I hate that. And it comes from that place of hate. And when things come from a place of dislike or hate, usually what tends to happen is you no longer hate what you see in the mirror, then your transition stops at that moment. But when you can get to the point where, let's start from a place of foundation where no matter how you look in your clothes, love what you see now. Begin to love the fact that you desire and love yourself enough to want to be different. If we start from that place of love, as you move forward, when you get to the point where you don't have that weight that you carry, it now becomes that process where I love me enough to keep going forward. And so I say that to highlight Pedro, because again, not knowing his story, he made a huge transition. I think one of the things he highlighted to me was like, I'm not an expert. I'm not this, I'm struggling, which is what represents a giant. We have expertise in our own areas, but there are so many other areas that we struggle. But because of each of us, we're able to be the shoulders. Because there's times where I may be the ground that somebody represents the shoulders for me to stand on in an area where I can't see. And then somebody else may be on the ground where they're seeing dirt, but I may be seeing the clouds, and they can stand on my shoulder. So we're not experts as in we know better than you and we're here to teach you. Where I guess if you want to use the term experts, we're experts in the sense that we understand the struggle because we're in the same dirt that you stand in. We've either stood in it or we're standing in it. So because of that, we've allowed ourselves to lock arms and be able to move forward and then be able to lift each other out of that and then say, look, this is how you do it. Not here to feed you fish, but I'm here to teach you how to fish.
I'll give another amen to that.
Another amen to that too.
Here we go. Yeah, we'll throw up all kinds of amens around here.
Second amen.
Yeah, I think that for me, I think it's borrowing other people's visions. I had to borrow Ryan's vision. I've had to borrow Rachel's vision of Rachel, what she has for me, borrow Lamar's vision, borrowing each other's visions. Everyone in this group has had a vision for me that they have shared with me that I couldn't see for myself. And you just have to borrow their eyes sometimes when you can't see it for yourself.
I love that.
I mentioned that to you today, Nick, right?
Yeah.
There's still some things that I'm learning. And I was like, man, what? I'm just Ryan, like what? I look around at the picture of the League of Giants and I'm like, oh, like I feel so small. Like these guys are giants, and Nick's like, bro, he's like, they look at you like you're a giant. They might be feeling that same thing some days. Like step into your giantness.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That reminds me of the guy that played the Hulk on the Avengers. He goes around and does cameo shots with all the famous actors because he doesn't think he's famous. And somebody put a meme together that said somebody should tell him that he's just as famous as they are. Man, we're all giants. And so we are growing. We're all growing into it. We're kind of getting close on time. Rachel, do you have another thought there?
Well, yeah, maybe just a closer. I don't know, but I was thinking about this where we're all trying to sharpen each other, all in the tribe, all of us, we sharpen each other, and we have to make connections. So I was just thinking about, I had a phone charger and it has like two little, I don't know what you call prongs or whatever. They go into the socket. I'm not an electrician. I realized one day my phone wasn't charging. I'm like, what is wrong with my phone? And I realized there was only one of the prongs going into the outlet, not two. So something we just have to kind of do the thing, to plug it in, to make sure it's connected.
Complete that circuit, right?
Keep the circuit. That's the thing I was trying to think of. And that's what we do in here. We forget. Sometimes I remember, Nick, you came on one of our calls and you're the leader, we're all the leaders together, but you came and said, I don't feel like it today. And so we all picked up and we had a breakthrough that day. It was like, sometimes we just don't feel like doing it, but we have a tribe that comes around and go, no, this is important. And some of the best things happen when one person doesn't feel like it and go, let's get connected. Let's just start plugging in, and then we'll make sure it's all, plugged in so that we can be able to rise strong together.
Man, I know we could go on for hours. We could go on and like literally do that. And we're going to create it so that our viewers can come on and see us more frequently. And so we'll create that work in a way that works for everybody. Any other final thoughts before we wrap up?
I was going to mention, there's, here's us as a league. We are here standing and waiting for you to come and present yourself, climb up on us and see where your vision is, see where you can be. That's the platform right here. We see that in you. Every single person here on this league, guaranteed every single one of us can see that in you. We're waiting for you. Come forward, climb up on top of our shoulders. Let us launch you to see that, to see what we see in you and to see where you can go.
Man, we could mic drop right there. Right? That was powerful, Amy. Thank you. I have so much gratitude for everybody in this group and also the tribe. You tribe members, I see you guys in there posting and commenting on each other's content. We had somebody the other night that was struggling with an anger situation, and I couldn't believe how many tribe members came in to support. And that's a beautiful thing. So I'm just grateful for each of you. I'm grateful for the tribe. couldn't have imagined this being what it is today. Couldn't have imagined this. It's magical, you know? So guys, thank you. Thanks for being on with us. There's actually 9 of us and maybe more. And thank you for that. And we will see you more frequently. I'm going to pop out with that video again. And as always, guys, go make it a giant day. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.
Bye.